Hello everybody and welcome to Zabi On Mic, and it's myself Zabi here to take you on for a challenge here in iRacing with League Zero, presented by none other than Inca Salsa. It's going to be here in the SF23 car, the Super Formula Series for the League Zero, and I think it's going to be a great one. This is currently free practice going on, but we will be moving on to the qualifying session very, very soon. It's going to be Zabi, myself, take B on your commentary mics, and take you on through the journey for tonight. We are here at VIR, Virginia International Raceway. It's of course going to be 15 minutes of qualifying session, then it's going to be a sprint race, which is going to be top 5 inverted going into the main race, depending on how the finishing order is. So we've got about 26 minutes, and there's a huge incident as we are just doing an intro of it, and there is a huge incident of a car flying going into one another. It was this one, Emil, just flying into the barriers. He's back into the pits now. But there we go. This is going to be entertainment. This is going to be entertaining. Of course, then it's going to be sprint and then a feature race. This should be nothing short of some great racing going on here tonight. This, of course, is a post-race broadcast. The race has been done, but the broadcast hasn't. And this is about to be fun. Season 13, round 1 at VIR. The entertainment begins. The challenge for all these drivers gets started now. And there we go, the challenge for qualifying begins with 15 minutes to these drivers, with a few seconds already having it passed. This is going to be a big challenge for every driver out there, and it is none other than the man on in front of your screens, the car number 88, which we are seeing have a go, take us through around the circuit and get us going, of course. The very first one ahead of everyone out on the circuit, getting out on the track to try and do a lap time on board, which is going to see us see a driver do a time on board. Of course, every single one of them is out there to do a time, and we're just having a look at him, and I think just making his way through the first 2 sectors and getting himself through on the circuit and give us a time. He's already posting time, which of course is not going to mean anything. All of these are out laps, so nothing much is going to be there, but anything which we are going to be seeing from him and everybody around as well. But it is going to be the car number 88 starting the very first flying lap out there on the circuit, and I think it'll be interesting to see who it is and who's not to do a lap, and who's going to be there to give us a lap time on board. Meanwhile, car number 8 at this point in time, they are right behind the 88, so these two are out on the circuit at this moment in time. Then right behind them is the 24, and all of these drivers are on their way to do the best they can at this point in time and show us the lap time on board and really give us somewhat of racing out there. And the number 8 are just beginning their flying lap as well at this moment in time. Now we are back on board. We're not back on board, we are in fact on board with the number 23 at this moment in time. Just ahead of them is the 88 car at this moment in time, the very first one to begin their flying lap, and it is Michael Fairchild at this moment in time, the driver, car number 88 in front of our screens. We're just going to have a look at this and trying to onboard with the driver himself to see how good of a lap time they're going to be able to do. And there we go, Fairchild in the 88 car at this moment in time, making their way through around the circuit to give us a lap time on board. There are a few cars out on the circuit ahead of them, so he might just be getting somewhat of a traffic out there on the circuit. But will it be interesting how good he's going to be able to get through those guys, though, because this is going to be interesting to see. He was the very first one, very few first drivers to be starting a flying lap at this moment in time, but that doesn't quite seem to be the case at this moment in time. Maybe some of those drivers have done a lap time, but I think all of them are going to be on those out laps. So the driver on a flying lap is going to be this man, Michael Fairchild. Is he going to be fair to himself? Will the circuit be fair to him to give him a lap time as he just makes his way past the final turn 17 and across that finish line? He's going to be coming up just now. How quick he's able to go, though, as he just comes across that line. The number 8 is going to be right behind him as well. But are we going to see a time updated? 1:33.2, but I wonder if that is the updated time at this point in time. Let's have a look at car number 8, which we were having a look at earlier on, which was James in that number 8, sorry, not in that number 8 car, that's position 8, but there are so many drivers having done the lap time already. What about Sanchez then? It was Sanchez, the number 8 car as it stands. 1:27.6, but I think, is it going to be the accurate time? We might need to go to a bit of an accurate overlay. Let's just get it done in a few moments' time. And there we go. We have a little bit of a differentiated time now. So that in the personal best, it doesn't show anything of any driver at this moment in time. But if we are having a look at the times at this point in time into the qualifying session, there are times on every driver's lid, and they are just doing it. I think if those who don't have it are having it, meanwhile we see Ryan going very, very wide there into the grass. He's just trying to stay away from trouble. So is Giel at this moment in time. He hasn't got a time on board as well. Ryan has got 1:34.014, but how quick does he go this time around with that him going wide? I won't be surprised if he does not improve. And at this moment in time as it stands, he does not improve. The time hasn't been updated yet from his timings, but let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at everyone now. Kyle at this moment in time in that 58 car at this point in time, just going through with a time of 1:27.6 into the qualifying session. I think just having a look at this now, all these drivers, so currently Felipe doesn't have a time on board as he goes very wide almost, and Shaji at this moment in time as it stands. Oh, that was him going this, the rear end sliding out. Very lucky for him to get out of that without big trouble, really going wide there, and quite saves it. So as it stands, his time stands 1:27.631, but are we going to see him improve even more? Let's go on board with Zuhair, car number 10 at this point in time, currently placed between in that third sector, just going through turn 10 into turn 11 and 12 at this point in time. Will he be able to hand it up? Very nicely done. A car right behind him is there waiting as well, as he just lets them pass, so he's not on a flying lap. He's done his part at this moment in time and gonna let others do it. What about Jace then at this moment in time? The car 77 Mayer, he's gonna just get past a car ahead of him, and at this moment in time car number 77, he's just making his way through into the second last sector, just the final one. He will be going. We are seeing drivers putting up lap times after lap time, but look at that. What about Meyer then? How good he's going to be able to do that? Just going on board and having a look at how good is he going to be able to do that. Just across that finish line now. In a few moments time, he's still a little bit away from that finish line, but he's going to just come across now. Does he go any quicker? Do we see him improve? As it stands, no. So 1:27.956 his quickest time, 1:28.112 his current time, previous time. So let's have a look at that. Are we going to switch to anybody else around the circuit to have a look at how they are doing? And they are going to get us. What about Shaji then? 1:36, of course. He was not going to be improving as well. What about this man at this moment in time? Nodib, at this moment in time, we are looking at him, and I think he's got a fast time, 1:26.879. What a time by him, and in that head standings we are having a look at, and these drivers, as he goes very wide, does no bit. I think we're going to see if he's able to improve. Some of those drivers on those out laps, some of those on those flying laps, but there are a lot of them, and I think all of them at this moment in time. We're just 7 minutes almost get past now, about 8 minutes having passed in this session so far. Are we going to see him improve as well? Are we going to see Mel improve at this point in time? Because so far his previous lap was his quickest, 1:26.879. Has he got enough energy? Has he got enough tire grip that is going to see him improve and go even more quicker across that line? He's just going to get past that line, and he is going to improve by quite a mile. That is going to see him go P3. 1:26.632. That's going to see him, the car number 99, go lap P3 at this moment in time. There are a lot of drivers on this session at this moment in time, trying to improve. A lot of these drivers doing so many laps on those drivers, 4 laps, 5 laps, and Ryan at this moment in time trying to improve as well. What about Rolls here at this time? His livery is very, I think, pretty interesting one, very great one we are seeing at this moment in time, and that was close. And we are just having a look at these drivers do their laps in this session. Give us the action, give us the entertainment part. 9 minutes have passed and we are on our way to see who we are going to be seeing be the quickest driver of them all. Number 2 P2, Shaji P5 at this moment in time, and what about James at this point in time? P8 for him, car number 83, in fact I shall say. He's just making his way through turn 12. This is going to be a big overtaking opportunity for all these drivers. Into the sprint race will go, so a big overtaking opportunity for all these drivers will be this one, in my opinion. But we'll see how this is going to be going. He does go personal best, at this point in time, but is he going to be improving just at the end of the sector now? Will he be improving? By how much of a margin will we see James improve and go quicker? At the moment Cameron goes P2. What about James then? Just across that finish line he's going to come. Yes, he does improve and find himself do a personal best at this point in time, 127.7. Meanwhile, there's another car around the circuit just spinning around. But look at others. What about Shaji? Currently P8 for and P14 for Jacob at this point in time, 129.768. His quickest lap in the session. And there's 3 sets of tires. There are not many drivers who use too many set of tires, but Arturo has used all of them. Currently P19 for him, 131.995, so he's far away from the rest of the field as it stands. But I'm just trying to find the pole position driver who actually we haven't been able to find at this point in time. But let's have a look at this. We're having a look at all these drivers, and there we go. There was the driver in P1, and it is Elliot. Elliot, the fastest of them all in this session so far. The man, the myth, the legend himself, 126.295. He hasn't got anybody getting closer to him because all the drivers I see are in the 127s. There is one man, though, Fabian, who is in 126.764. But it is going to be Elliot at this moment in time himself. Fastest of them all. We are about 11 minutes into the session now as Elliot goes very, very wide there, touches the grass, comes back on the circuit, but obviously he will not be on a flying lap considering he's just done a lap. He's done over 6 laps on the same set of tires, so probably just trying to save up some of those going into the race as well as going into the sprint race, then the feature race after as well, so the tire sets would be vital to defend. But he's been pushing really, really hard at this moment in time. If frankly speaking, he doesn't seem to be on an outlap, though. Sure, he went wide, but still he seems to be pushing very, very much, just like he would be on a flying lap and on a lap to improve, which is going to see him get quicker and quicker. Cameron just about 2 tenths down on Elliot. Then what about Emil? He's 7,700 down on Cameron. Then Fabian about 1.8 tenths down. Shaji over 6 tenths down, a big one for him. Then Cal in P6, got Rolls in P7, James in P8, Leo Delmas in P9, Michael Fairchild in P10, Jace Mayer in P11, Nick Peters in P12, Ryan in P13, Jacob in P14, Gareth P15, Xavier in 16th place at this moment in time. Across the line goes our pole position driver. Then it's Felipe Ramos in P17, Peter in 8, Arturo in P19, Richard P20, Antonio Bianchi himself without a lap time at this point in time, P21, and then there is the final driver whose name is a bit hard to catch a little bit, but that's all these drivers just pushing so hard, and probably his lap time did not, we don't see his personal best time because his lap might have not been an improvement one. But are we gonna see Rolls improve? Are we gonna see him give us the time, give himself and his team to something to cheer about at this point in time, which is gonna see us have a look at him improve and give us a time which we are gonna have a look at and see improve him. He's done over 7 laps on these tires, this is gonna be his 8th one, but he's got the big chance of improvement and getting quicker. His previous lap was 127.440, but personal best in there for him. We'll see what he's going to be able to do, though. With the front of the part, the circuit is green, but not all of the parts, so he does need to be going quicker and doing a lap that's going to see him get quicker. I mean, Elliott at the moment, quickest of them all. Nobody getting closer to him so far, but the number 5, car number 5, can he move himself? Not further, but just P5 as his car number is. But I think it's going to be interesting to get it going, to see these drivers go around the circuit, and it is going to be Rolls coming across that finish line now. Are we going to see him improve? Does he improve? Fingers crossed. He does improve. Yes, he does, but only by time and not by position. He does improve by over 4/10 almost from his previous lap. Currently 127.063, but he still stays P7. The competition is far higher. The competition and the fight seems to be the best it can be in this session so far. What about Elliott himself? He hasn't been able to find a lap better than his previous one. What about Arturo at this moment in time? Car number 55 around the circuit, but number 12, Xavier Sena, he's going to come into the pits. The car one right behind him is going to be 44 of, who is it that? And are we just coming up to the end of qualifying session? Yes, we are. So probably drivers coming across into the pits at this moment in time. And Elliott, no, it's not Elliott, it's the driver in the final place. It's Eric, who just set the tires, car number 95. Not a lap time on board. But that means then it is going to be none other than Elliott himself, who's going to be taking pole position, unless there are a few drivers out on the circuit who could challenge him, but nobody seems to be closer, as he now comes into the pits as well, as the qualifying session has went to an end. It's going to be Elliott, the man, taking pole position and finishing ahead of everyone in first place with a time of 126.206. We just will be getting into the race session now in a few moments time. That's going to be a sprint. It shows it's going to be about 11 minutes of the sprint and 8 laps around the circuit. Just a moment, in a few moments time. So just as we have the drivers getting ready, let's have a look at a grid rundown for all of you. It's Elliott himself ahead of everyone. Just right behind him is going to be Camaro in second place. Then it's Fabian in fourth. There has to be some driver on third place, but they haven't gridded yet on the position, and it's going to be in fifth place Shaji Zuhair in that car number 10 at this moment in time. But I think there is going to be 22 of these drivers, and it's going to be an amazing one. Cameron in second place, Amel in third, then it's going to be Fabian in fourth. It's going to be Shaji Zuhair in that fifth one. It's going to be Kyle in P6, just ahead of Rolls in seventh. Then comes James in eighth. It's Leo Dalmas in ninth. Then Michael Fairchild completes the top 10. Jay Smayer in P11, Nick Peters in P12, Ryan in 13, Jacob in 14th, and it's Gareth in 15th place, just ahead of Xavier in 16th. Then Felipe Ramos in 17th, Peter in 18th, with Arturo in 19th, just ahead of Richard in P20, Antonio Bianchi in P21, and then it's Eric in P22. That is going to be your starting grid for the sprint race. And there we go. We are on our way for the beginning of this race, as everybody is now gridded. So we shall be going racing in any time soon now. We shall be having a go at all these drivers get going and go racing here at Virginia Raceway, International Raceway, as we go green here at VIR. There is going to be already actions going on. There's going to be actions going into turn one. It's going to be Elliott and Cameron going to turn one side by side. Who is it going to be better though? Will it be car number 6 or will it be car number 23? They've all went smooth and single file into turn one. A very good start for the top two and everyone around as well. But let's have a look at this. All the drivers around them are going to be on their way. Let's have a look at any overtakings around the grid. Let's have a look at the most exciting opportunity, as there is side-by-side action between the drivers behind Gareth and Nick between side-by-side. And what a move done by Gareth. Car number 25 makes a move and gets himself through into P12. And that's a position gained for Michael. And I think all of these drivers at this moment in time gaining all these positions, and we've done all of our thing here in the sprint race, as Eric in P20, Arturo there, as there is I think that should be Bianchi maybe, not sure who that is, but let's have a look at this. We are back with the action, an action between the top drivers, and what a section that is. We are going on board with Cameron, cockpit view with the best seat in the house and on the circuit here at VIR to watch this battle between the top two drivers that have shown some great speed in qualifying sessions, but it's their time to do it here in the race as well. Are we going to see any overtaking opportunities or any overtakes done by one another at this point in time? We're only going into lap 2, and this battle is heating up already, and this is some entertaining and interesting racing going on. Will it be a chance though? This is very, very close. Meanwhile, Noble goes very, very wide. Amel goes very, very wide, and he's going to be out of the race or something. His wheel came off. His wheel came off. He went very, very wide, trying to rejoin back on the circuit. There was somewhat of a damage, and I think there has to be big damage for him. Front wing seems to be quite okay, but not okay, but in a sense that an incident that he could have had seems to be okay, but that is not okay. And there we go, he's out of this race already. Into the pits he goes. He just went wide, and that is exactly what can happen. Just one single and a simple mistake could well be your biggest problem at this point in time in this race, because a simple mistake could well be coming up to be the worst that could happen to you in this race. But meanwhile, Leo and Kyle are going to have their own fight. There are a lot of cars having their fight after fight after one another. Only on lap 2 here in this 8-lap sprint, and this could well be a chance for Kyle, as both of them are side by side now. Who will be late on the brakes? Will it be Kyle or will it be Leo? It is going to be Kyle going through from outside to the inside line. And he's going to be through on Leo at the moment, and Kyle makes up another position. He started P6, I believe, but he's lost a few positions at the start. And still a very, very good one for him. And there could be a chance though. There's a fight going on behind, right behind Leo. It's going to be Mayer and Fairland having a fight with each other. Is it going to be Michael able to overtake? But no, Mayer's just able to defend. But Michael's going to have the inside line. They're both side by side as he goes into the back of Leo there. Jace has been able to get through, but Michael has went into the back of one another there, and that has been a big problems there. Leo might just going to be out of this race. And we're on lap 5 now out of 8, so we're coming closer to the end. And look at that, how many cars are in there in the pits out of it. Meanwhile, there's going to be Xavier and Shadi's not there battle, but the battle between just ahead of those drivers. The battle between that, let's have a look at that. I think that might have been the battle between Shadi or Nick, but we'll see. So there are some of those drivers, all these drivers out of the circuit, and some currently out on the circuit for our racing, and some out for some great battles. And what a look at this. Let's have a look at this now. Xavier has lost positions, and he's lost quite a few of them, as we see a lot of the cars getting ahead of those drivers. Look at Shadi very, very quickly getting through, and very, very fast. These drivers are driving. Xavier could well be on his way to try and find a way, to try and find a player, try and find a driver that he could try and attack at this moment in time. But will there be a chance? Meanwhile, we see a car spinning at the back of the track in their own, but Xavier will be on their way to give us the action. Will he be going to overtake? Yes, he's going to try and do it, but Jacob's not going to let him get past. He's not going to let him get easy at all. Let's have a look at this. Let's go from the cockpit view of Xavier to get us through. He's going to be doing that position. He has some information on his dash, but this is a post-race thing, so that doesn't quite matter. But there you go, he's using the overtake. Remember, in these Super Formula cars, you can only use this overtake on for a few seconds, and once it's over, you have to wait for another lap to get restarted and to use it again. Oh, very wide goes Jacob. He goes very, very wide, and that's going to allow Xavier to get closer and get him. He's going to be on his way to get him. He is going to be on his way to get him, though. Because this is going to be somewhat of an action. 2 minutes remaining, a single lap remaining as well after this one. Xavier Jacob Xavier, who's going to be able to overtake. Ooh, that was a bit of a snap. Maybe some of a car hitting the barrier there. There is the car number 17 right behind these guys. Let's have a look at that. They might have hit the barrier, and yes, it is. Antonio in the sprint. Bianchi has hit the wall. Car number 17. And he has parts of the car missing out there. Let's go. Let's move to our leader. The leader himself, who's led from start to finish at this point in time. Just almost getting it as a dominant performance. A dominant arc done by Elliott at this point in time. 126.696. In this race so far, he comes ahead of everyone. Right behind him is Kyle, and Kyle has made his way up the order and moved himself into second place. And then it's Cameron in third, James in fourth. There are many different car position finishers compared to where they actually started. And I think the fight is going to be on. The race is going to be on, and this could well be a nice fight between these three guys. But let's go back to Elliott at this point in time. The car number 23, a dominant performance in the qualifying. He finished ahead of everyone. In qualifying, started ahead of everyone in the race, and he's now going to be on his way to finishing ahead of every single one on the grid and come home to win the sprint race here at VIR. Of course, the race is going to be very different, but the sprint race is going to be on its way. Try and get other drivers, but there you go, try and get other drivers on the grid. We're going to try and get those drivers in, but not quite able to get their data at this moment in time. The drivers finishing in second place, and a lot of the drivers just coming up to finish now. So it's going to be a nice little way to see who finished where. So Cameron finished in second place. It was looking like Kyle was going to do it, but Cameron then took it in the end. Kyle in second place and James in fourth. And then came Mayer in fifth place, doing a very good job. All of these drivers. And that's then now is going to call end to the sprint race as well. So the top 5 are going to be inverted. Let's see how that works. I've never seen that before myself as well, so it's going to be an interesting one to see. Hope you're all watching so far have enjoyed the broadcast so far. League Zero presented by none other than Inca Salsa. So this is going to be great as checkered flag has now dropped, and all the drivers, those who finished, those who did not, are all in the pits and at the one position. And there's already cars out on the track, but this is not a break. It's the 5-minute warm-up. So for all of these drivers, before they get going into the main feature race, they could just have a look at us, have a look at the track, have a look at the circuit, and just do some laps around the circuit to get themselves warmed up, get themselves ready up. Meanwhile, we have a car out on track who just returns back to the circuit. Meanwhile, Leo, who did not have the best of the best sprint races, would like to have something good happen to him in this sprint race, in this feature race, because surely he got bumped into by a car right behind, but those two were fighting, so maybe he got in between, like wrong place, wrong time for him into the race. And I think we'll see what he's going to be able to do, and how he's going to be able to get this going. And I think we'll see how will he be taking everything up and get us going, because this is somewhat of racing, and we will just get going as he goes very wide. Leo just having a look at this in the warm-up, and he's already going very wide. So we'll just take a bit of a few seconds of a break and be back when it's time for the race. Just 1 minute now remaining for this warm-up to end and drivers to get ready and really begin the challenge, because not always you have the challenge. Obviously the pressure is off. There is not much pressure about crashing, there's not pressure about ruining, but when it gets going, when we are into the race, it's really going to be big problems, and big problems if you make a mistake and really do something that's going to really hurt your points, hurt your championship contention. Everything is noted, everything really needs to be seen underway to do something like that, and I think we are going to be on our way. Just in about 20 seconds we'll have the cars grid up with, of course, the top 5 inverted, so we'll see how the positions get inverted, though meanwhile Leo goes wide. But just 10 more seconds and we get going for the feature race here at VIR. Hope you're all enjoying this broadcast so far. We are live with League Zero, presented by Inca Salsa. Anything you need from there, anything you want from Inca Salsa, you can have a go at them. They're, of course, the title sponsor for League Zero. Everything disappeared, everything get going, and it's time, and it's gonna be time for the feature race. 24 laps here around VIR. We only did 8 in the sprint race, and it's gonna be time to do as many as 24. The drivers are gridding up. It's then Mace. It is Mayer, sorry, not Mace, but Jace Mayers in that first place. Of course, he finished P5. Then right ahead of him was James, who starts P2. Then Kyle starts P3. And then, of course, comes Cameron in P5. And there is a start. The start is already going. We going into the race, and we are already going to be starting. It's lights out, and we go racing here at VIR in the Super Formula Series. It's turn 1. The two are going to be going at it. And then we're already going to be seeing some more great action between the two there. Ryan and Mace, Jace, they're giving us the action, but the two have ran away. James and Cameron have ran away from the rest of them. As we were just talking, the race has started, and it's going to be the start for this race. And times are going to be started into lap 1. We are going to be going, and this is going to be a good fight between the top 2. And definitely that inverted from the sprint race fight. Grid positions are very visible. And one of them is going to be this one. James and Cameron having a go at each other. There is some drivers fighting each other right behind as well. Elliot currently outside the top 4. But we are going to be having a look at this. The fight that could well be shaping up. Only on lap 1. And already there's drivers. And I believe there's a car right behind. And that's the car of Jace, who's very, very wide, and that's going to see him lose out on the position. But James seems to be the most comfortable he's been so far in this race. But will it be enough? Not quite comfortable for him, as Cameron's going to get through and take the lead and snatch it away from James. There we go, as Cameron has overtaken James and overtaken him, and to get ahead of him and overtake him, Cameron stays ahead of everyone now at this moment in time, leading the race. Remember, he started in P2 for that sprint race, but P4 for this feature race, I believe. And after that, he's got going, and there's already a car in the wall. Let's have a look at that. There's many drivers out, and Antonio is one of them, and he's already out of the session. Meanwhile, we are having the rest of the grid as well. We're having a look at the rest of the grid, only on lap 2 out of 24, and there could be a fight going up between Richard and Felipe. That should be. Richard is going to be on his way to show us some action. Sorry, not Richard and Felipe. The car out of him is Garrett, then it is Richard himself. I think Felipe is not far away as well, but we'll see how is one another able to do, because we are there to see some fights, see some great racing. Richard Lee, and that's going to be a big problem for the cars ahead going up, and I think it's going to be Rolls making up the position and getting ahead. So will be Xavier losing out on the position from Garrett there, who's going to get ahead, and Rolls in that number 5 car is on his way to be rolling around the grid and getting up and overtaking the few of those drivers, and the fight is on. The entertainment is on between these drivers, and Cameron goes very wide. What has happened there? Meanwhile, Cameron has ended up being in P15. What happened to the race leader? He was leading at some point, and that's what happened to him. Let's have a look at that. Let's try and find it. Let's try and find what exactly happened to our race leader. The driver who was leading at one point has ended up being in the wall. And he's... Okay, so this is... At this time he has a wheel missing as well. What exactly happened? Not quite sure. But we will see, because something might have happened here at this point. So he was currently... Ooh, so that's what happened at this point in time. He might... Oh, so there we go. So let's have a look at this now. He's in first place, okay? Let's have a look at this. He's in first place. Right behind him is James. Right behind him is James, who's trying to fight him, who's trying to gain up on that position and really attack him. But, let's have a look at this now. And this could well be, let's have a look at it in slow motion. And Cameron himself, so he was going smooth, just a little bit of a mismanagement. He's going smooth and he locks up. So he locks up on the right front tire, and in full speed he smashes into the barrier, tries his brakes, but obviously those are not going to be effective. And it's going to be Cameron himself putting it in the wall, and that is somewhat of a problem for your race leader. And that means that he's not leading the race anymore. And let's have a look at this, and we are going to be all on our way to get going now. Cameron losing out on the positions, but let's have a look at everyone up the order now. Kyle in P4, Ryan in P2, it's James in P1. It shows P2, but he should be in P1, and he's got the fastest lap as well so far. James has got the fastest lap. It's definitely the inverted grid, as I earlier on said that he's very comfortable, but he got overtaken the next moment. But this time around, as it stands, he seems to be ahead of everyone and puts another fastest lap of 129.1. He's getting quicker. Only 24 laps in this race, but the fight is going to be on. And Elliott, the man, the sprint race winner, is on his way to overtake Kyle and move himself up into third place and making positions. And another position switch for Elliott is going to see him go P3, but he's going to go very wide. Will there be a chance for Kyle to come back at him? Not quite be the case at this point in time, but we will see. Will there be a chance for Kyle? Will there be a chance for anybody else around watching as well? Because we are on our way to see who's best at it. And I think James at this moment has got the fastest lap. Nobody closer to him. And Antonio's in the pits. He again was in the pits a long time ago. Arturo currently P18. What about Eric? He started last in the sprint, and there's the fight going on. There's a fight between Felipe and Xavier then. This part of the grid seems to be very entertaining, as well as right behind them might have been somewhat of a car. Unable to identify who that was, but that would be interesting to see. And let's have a look at this. And there is going to be Emil is going to try and make a move or something, or will there be a move done by him? There's not going to be a move done by him, but some of the cars ahead of him could well be a chance for them, as they are in their fight and on their way to be giving a fight. And Mir at this moment in time, just right behind Shaji. Could there be a chance for Jace? Will he be giving us the overtake? Will he be going for an overtake? He's going to try and go out to the outside line. Shaji's going to try and defend the inside line, but will he be able to defend enough and defend his position? Will Jace do the switchback? Not quite enough though at this moment in time. Mir still staying there, but he might just send it through. But he's not going to send it through this time around. He just stays there, and he stays pretty different. He stays pretty cautiously. He stays cautiously and doesn't quite try something that might not go the way he wants to go. And so he really wants to be doing the best performance at this point in time, I think. Doesn't really be doing that, but there is a move coming up right behind these guys, though. What about Jacob? And I believe there might have been a move coming up from Fabian Sanchez, but he's not currently in 10th place, and not quite the switch-ups we would have wanted, or we would have been looking for. We want an overtake at this point in time. Will car number 8 be able to overtake? Car number 8 be able to overtake and move himself into position number 8? Only time will tell. Not quite the time at this point in time for him. Meanwhile, the time for Gareth and Rolls to make a move. Rolls is going to get ahead and move himself up into 13th place, and a position switch for Rolls and an overtake done. Only 4 laps in, and the racing has been very, very close, and it's been very, very entertaining between all of these drivers. And we are back to our leaders. James seems to be leading ahead of everyone, but Elliott isn't far away as well. He's currently P3, and he's posted the fastest times. Remember, he was the quickest in qualifying, the quickest in the sprint race, and won it. The grid got it, the top 5 got inverted. Had to start P5, but he's moved himself back into P3, and his chance of an overtake on Ryan will not be far away as well, and he could well be up for an overtake coming up from Elliott to make it. He's switching up corner to corner, right down the outside to the inside. He's trying everything he can, but at this moment in time, will it be enough for him though? They're very, very close to each other. Could well be a chance for Elliott to do it though. This is going to be an overtaking move, an overtaking opportunity. The back straight, it's an uphill section, but this is where the most overtakes happen here at VIR, and I think it's going to be another chance and another overtaking opportunity for Elliott, but will he be able to do that? No, not right now, not quite close enough. He's going to get closer and closer. Maybe the start-finish straight could well be the overtaking opportunity for Elliott, our sprint race winner, our qualifying pole position driver. Will he be making a move? He's going to try and make it down the inside line, but Ryan might try and defend, so it's going to be Elliott to go to the inside line or to the outside line. He thought for it for a moment, but again, not quite close enough. Still not quite close enough at all. I think he's going to try it, but that doesn't seem to be close enough between the two, and I think it's going to be one more time. Will Elliott have to go around and try and do it? He'll have to go around one more time and do it here at VIR, and I think the overtaking opportunity could have been the best for him around that back straight, but not quite the best of them at all so far. But we will see how he's going to be able to do it. Will he show us somewhat another overtake? What about others though? James still seems to be the best. What about Ryan then? He is in pressure from Elliott so far. Kyle is right behind these guys as well. Nick is a little bit far away, but he's got the challenge of Fairchild and Shaji. Will Shaji be able to do something to Fairchild, or will Fairchild give us somewhat an overtaking opportunity? Was there an overtake from Elliott? It wasn't, but this time it is going to be. He's going to be to the outside line, which is going to be coming to the inside. He's going to switch from outside to the inside, and that's going to be an overtake done by Elliott, and that's going to move him up into 2nd place, and he's done it all. The overtakes was coming up from laps to go, and he's moved himself up into 2nd place, and now the challenge and the fight he will have to give will be to James, and I think the pressure will be on James. He's over 2.3 seconds ahead of Elliott at this point in time, but not quite enough, and I think the fight is going to be turning up, and this is all going to be happening at this point in time on lap 7 out of 24. The fight for the race lead is going to be on. The rest of the grid are having a great fight as well, so let's go back to the back of the grid to maybe give us some action between these two then. Rolls and Rolls and Richard. It is going to be only 3/10 as Rolls goes very, very wide. Richard's going to get closer, and he must have been waiting for this opportunity. As soon as these guys are getting to a little bit of an overtaking zone, they're going to be at it. So this is more of an this could have been a great straight, but I think that just the corners, the pattern of the circuit doesn't quite allow these drivers to do what they would want to be doing at this point in time, and I think we'll see what they're going to be able to do, because lap 7 out of 24, and that then sees 17 laps to go, and it could well be a chance for Richard to get it going as well. But will he be going? Because the overtaking button, remember, they have the overtaking opportunity, overtake button, the energy to use, but once they use it, they can't quite use it again and until the next lap, so they will have to wait another lap. But the laps aren't quite big though. I mean, just minute and a 30-second on average is a decent lap, considering some of these drivers doing 129s as well, and we'll see what they're going to be able to do. So interestingly, Roll's previous lap was 129.7, but his best lap is 129.949. But we'll see who's going to be able to get better for one another. Will there be a chance for Gareth though? Yes, it will be. Rolls went in, only defending on the inside line, but that wasn't quite going to be enough. And he gets him through, but he's ran deep. That's going to allow Rolls to get back at him, but then it's going to allow Gareth to get through as well, because one went wide, the other went a little bit deep, and it's going to be none other than Gareth, the man of overtaking these drivers, and is going to get him through, and that's going to be Gareth getting himself up into 8th place. And what a move done by him. He was just watching those guys fight each other and just waited for his opportunity, and when the opportunity came, he took it with both hands. So he was just fighting there between the two. I mean, what a performance that was, because pretty much he just stood there. I mean, all he did was not make a mistake, because Richard and Rolls were fighting. Then definitely Richard made the move, went deep, went on the grass. Then Rolls kind of probably just looking at him, lost his focus as well. That allowed Gareth to get through, and an overtake done, and an opportunity that was going to come race long has happened to be his. He's made the move. And what about these guys? What about Shaji? Okay, so Shaji might have pitted. So remember, it's a feature race. Of course, it's going to be one mandatory pit stop for each driver. So as it stands, Shaji only done 5 laps on his previous tire. Maybe he got a puncture, maybe got somewhat of a damage that he had to pit for, and then went in to fit on the tires as well. But he's done 2 laps on his previous one. There are a lot of drivers pitting then. So Leo has pitted as well. He's on a 2-lap old tires. Felipe on a 5-lap old tire, put it on lap 2. Then Fabian on the 4 laps on his current tire as well. What about Xavier? He's got 4-lap old tires as well. It's all. But the leader has been staying ahead of everyone, and has been able to stay ahead of everyone. Nobody quite able to challenge him. Nobody quite able to get closer to him, because the fight will be on between the two. We're on lap 2. Both of them have been pitted. James hasn't pitted. Elliot hasn't pitted. Both of them, of course, trying to go as much as they can on these dry compound tires, as of course on the first set of tires. But will there be an opportunity for Elliot to get it through now, with only about 21 minutes remaining in this race? Equals to about 15 laps. Could well be a great opportunity for Elliot to overtake. They're on the main straight now, start-finish straight. This was the time. Elliot overtook the other car to get himself into P2, and this is going to be him now overtaking James to get himself into P1, and he's going to do it. James is not going to give it a big proper fight as well. He's just going to let him get past. He knows that his best opportunity would be P2. At least considering Elliot's pace. Elliot seems to be rapidly quicker, how he was in that sprint race and in this race as well. So he's very, very quick as it stands, and I think that's then definitely going to be allowing him to get closer, and that's allowed him to overtake. We're only into lap 10, and the race leader, it only took Elliot 10 laps in total, 9 laps in total, as we were moving him from 9 to 10 to overtake and get himself up into P1 from P5. He's quite done it. And of course, these Super Formula cars are open wheelers and quite similar to Formula 2 cars, probably even a little bit more quicker than those. Of course, not as quick as a Formula 1 car, but probably just a bit quicker than an F2 car, and really, really a good challenge to drive around and get these guys. Let's have a look at the rest of the grid, the other drivers on the grid having a fight. This is a little bit of a fight between... Oh, will there be a fight though, because... Okay, so it is Elliot and James now comes into the pits. James now heads into the pits. That's going to see him. Let's have a look at this though. Actually, let's have a look at a pit stop, which we haven't seen. He's going to come into the pit lane. There's already 2 cars in the pits without anything. There's 3, in fact, more than 2. So those drivers probably maybe in being involved in the incidents, not quite continuing anymore. It is Jace then probably. We saw him have an incident earlier on, but I wonder if that was in the sprint race. And there we go. He's changed it. James has changed the tyres, and he's going to be out now. That's going to see him exit the pit lane in P7. That is a pretty good exit opportunity, because he's going to exit in P10. It's going to be Richard and Gareth fighting each other out there. Both of them on old tyres so far, over 10 laps on these tyres now. Could well be the time for them pitting, and Richard is spinning, or not spinning, but moving around rapidly. His rear end is stepping out, and definitely that shows he's short on grip, and both of these drivers are going to be having similar types of grip. But will it be Richard or will it be Gareth to make an overtake? Who's going to be the driver to give us the action and give us and overtaking at this point in time? Will it be car number 43 or will it be car number 25 getting ahead of one another? Great opportunities and great overtaking opportunities by all these drivers, but I think both of them are pretty much just going to be pitting this lap at this point in time. Nick at this moment in P5 running, he hasn't pitted as well, so as an Emil who currently runs in P3, he doesn't come into the pits as well. What about Ryan, currently running in P3? He lost a position to Elliot earlier on, then so did Kyle. It was James who was fighting for, but when did Elliot pit? He doesn't pit. James was the first one from the top 5 to pull the trigger of an undercut. But how effective is the undercut around here around VIR? Because pit stops mean a lot. Doesn't matter if you are having the best of the speeds you've ever had around a circuit, but if you're going to ruin the pit stop strategy, if you're going to ruin a pit stop, that is not going to be happening to be the best of them all so far for you. We'll see how they're all going to be able to do. The track temperature now has improved, not improved, but got quite currently 33.33 Celsius at this point in time. The leader hasn't quite pitted, as he's just making his way now around the final few corners. He's got the best opportunity to pit. He's got 6.1 seconds gap to second place in Kyle, and he's going to overtake. Pull the trigger. What about Kyle? Stays out another lap, tries to stay out, maybe do the lap as good as he's going to be able to stay out ahead and stay ahead of him. But what about James? James will be the guy to keep an eye on. He's currently just the one before the final sector, and we'll see how he's going to be able to do that, making his way from turn 14 into 15. He's just got the final corner, 16 and 17 to go now. Will he be exiting ahead of our race leader? Will he be exiting ahead of Elliot, or has Elliot exited the pits already? Yes, he has. He's exited the pits already. He's going to exit in P5. That's going to allow Richard to get through. He did not put up a fight out there, did Elliot, because he knows that Richard is on an old set of tyres and he will have to pit again. But in fact, Richard is in P15, so that might be a lapped car. And that's going to be Richard having to get Elliot let past, which I don't know if there's a certain rule in iRacing or not, but I'm sure as much as open wheel racing is concerned, he would have to let him pass, but he's not letting him pass. He's putting up a fight, but what about that then? So there is a very good news for James then. Sure, he's got over 2.9 seconds to Gareth at this point in time, but the overtaking might just be not easy, but he's got a chance to gain. He's got a chance to gain the time, because he's got not many laps, and I think he's got not much drivers. Only one car between himself and Elliot, so that's a very good news for James, and for as long as Richard is able to hold off Elliot, this is going to be good news for James as well, because James has got the opportunity. He's got a very good opportunity at this point in time in this race. I mean, having a look at the rest of the battles as Richard now pits as well. It's going to be Gareth staying out one more lap. James staying out as well. There are so many cars. James definitely pitted another lap. There's a lot of cars in the pits. Let's have a look at this. There are so many in the pits already out of this race as well, which probably we haven't seen, but let's have a look at this. So, and there we go. So, car number 25, Gareth in P6, James in P7, Elliot in P5. So this is pretty much the battle we are seeing out on track, apart from two drivers, which is car number 88 and car number 10, which is going to be this battle. Ooh, that's nice as well. But that's not far away as well between Zuhair and my Fairchild, but the gap is a lot. So I think at this moment in time, the driver's just pitting, you know, everybody pitting. So it'll take a little bit of a time for everyone to get closer, at one another. But we will see though, because will Javier be able to overtake Felipe? Both of them have pitted, but are on over 10 to 11 lap old tires. So an overtaking opportunity. Sorry, it's not Felipe, it is Richard. And Xavier has pitted has done over 10 laps on his current set of tires, but Richard has only done one, and he has pitted. But is Richard behind him? Because let's have a look at this. Yeah, Richard in P15, so Richard is almost about to get lapped by Xavier at this point in time. So this is not an actual battle for position, but look at that. Almost every single car currently is in the pits. Meanwhile, Emil is currently in P1, hasn't pitted. Elliot back into second place. James is back in fourth place, and I think he's just waiting for Gareth to pit at this point in time, because he knows, he knows that this is his opportunity. He knows that he's got the opportunity, and this is his opportunity to probably just take third or second place, whatever comes his way. Because Gareth can't go the whole race on the same amount of tires, so he will have to pit. We are on lap 15, and I think this could well be his chance of pitting. Maybe he's trying to do his own race and probably do it the best way possible he can, and I think we'll see what he's going to be able to do, and could well be an opportunity, and I think we will get it going. Very wide goes James there. There could well be a chance of overtake or of in position switching. Car number 24, the 25 and 23 fighting each other. Sorry, not 23, 83 fighting each other. Elliot currently in second place. He's in second place. I think he should be taking the lead, but not quite at this moment in time as it stands. Elliot goes quicker and quicker lap after lap. He might be quicker this time around. His previous lap was 127.698, but will he be able to go quick? Yes, he will be. 127.173. He's going quicker. He's doing faster lap times. Lap after lap. Over 16 seconds the gap to Emil at this point in time. Hope I'm pronouncing this name right, because my very first time and I'm not quite good with pronouncing names. So anybody's name that I do not pronounce right, just get me going. Maybe just drop a DM to how to actually pronounce your name, because it doesn't quite work right with me. But we are almost now, we are more than halfway distance into the race. Lap 16 out of 24. Let's try and see any cars that are going to be closer to each other out on the circuit, and there could well be a chance of an overtaking between the cars. Two cars out there, and that's going to be none other than these two, Xavier and Richard. So Richard is a lapped car, but we saw him not let past Elliot as well, and now he's going to try and maybe fight it out a little with Richard as well, with Xavier as well. He's not going to find him easy, not going to give him an easy opportunity, but the opportunity between the two drivers could well be on the way. Let's have a look at this. A lot of the drivers in the pits probably had incidents. Maybe we haven't been able to cope up on those because we were rather fighting up. Having a look at an entertaining race. Meanwhile, Shadi has done it as he's going to get through, and Zuhair has made his way and ahead of Ryan now. Both are Ryan on new tyres, having 2 laps. Meanwhile, Zuhair has done over 11 laps on these tyres, but I think as it stands, he might just be thinking to not pit and finish the race on these tires, because it could well not be a nice one. You know, he's got an opportunity, and number 88 and our 2 row, completely different tires, completely different race between these two as well. It's going to be Fairchild, currently running in P5. He's got a very good opportunity to try and get past him. Is he going to be able to get past him? Yes, it's a lapped car, but he's going to get past him. He just gets out of the way to let him get past. I mean, our 2 row trying his best to just finish the race. He has pitted currently in 14th place, so that's a very good opportunity for him to overtake. And with the amount of cars out, probably a lot of the cars maybe made a lot of mistakes which then allowed them, didn't allow them to really be being at the best of their performances. But then it's going to be, let's have a look at this. Kyle to Mike. Oh, that's nice. Fairchild currently P5, so it's a great opportunity for him to finish inside that top 5. Meanwhile, finally he has decided to pit as Nodip gets out of the way of the leaders. That's then going to allow... Okay, let's try and get to the leader. Let's try and get to the top guys. It's going to be Kyle. James finally back into second place, which the position he would have wished for. And our race leader, Elliot, is going quicker to quicker and quicker, lap after lap. He's going to give us something. He's giving us something. Because this is somewhat of an interesting thing going on. What a race so far. I mean, we've had some overtaking opportunities, not a lot of them, but apologies if we haven't been able to catch up on some things, but there haven't been many overtakes. I mean, there were some at the start of the race, and a few of those in between, but we're just trying our best to get the most. We're just 6 laps to go now. See, I mean, race 1, everything started from 0. It was Elliot taking the first few, taking that sprint race win, which stopped him from starting actually in first place, which obviously the top 5 getting reverted saw him start a position down. Not position down, but in fact in P5, but that did not allow him, that did not stop him from getting any closer to the top of the table. He's currently got a fastest time of 127.011. Nobody's able to get closer to him. Only a few drivers inside those top 10. I think let's have a look at that in that top heading to see where is everybody in this race so far and where they actually are. With 22 drivers, Elliot in first place, James in second place at this moment in time, Kyle in that third place, and Michael Fairchild in fourth, Shaji Zuhair in fifth, and it's Nobi in sixth place, Ryan in seventh, Nick Peters in 8th, it's Fabian Sanchez in 9th, Gail Rolls in 10th, Gareth in 11th place, Xavier in 12th, Felipe in 13th, 4.8 seconds, and a minute down is Arturo, and I think Richard in P15 actually, then it's Eric, Jacob, Jace, Mayer, and Antonio, Leo, and then Cameron in 21st and Peter in 22nd place. So those guys probably going to be out after, I think, Arturo maybe. Many of those drivers out of this race. Let's try and get closer. Let's try and see who are we going to be able to find that is going to be giving us the fight on the circuit. Let's have a look at this. These are the drivers closer to each other currently. It's Nick and Fabian very, very closer to each other. 1.2 seconds the gap between the two. But we'll see. Will Fabian be able to gain on him? Will Fabian be able to do something that's going to allow him to get closer to Nick? Or will Nick do something that's going to allow Fabian to stay away? That's going to allow Nick to be in the clear air. But will it be the clear chance for him? Not quite able to be doing that. Fabian so far currently runs a P8. Car number 8 has done 16 laps. Over 16 laps in this race so far on the second set of tyres, which he had to be going through with only 4 laps to go now. This race is coming to an end, and it's going to come to an end in a very, very nice way so far. The track temperature's not improving, but it's increasing lap after lap, and it's increasing time after time, and we will see what is one or another of these drivers able to do, because there is going to be an opportunity, there is going to be a chance for every single one of these drivers. Meanwhile, Fabian Sanchez is getting closer as well. At the end of that sprint race as well, we saw a lot of drivers getting closer to one another and have an opportunity to overtake. But that doesn't quite seem to be the case here at this time. I mean, 4 laps to go. Still going to be a good opportunity. Hope you all are watching and enjoying this broadcast with Zabi, myself, on your Zabi on mic, on your commentary mics to get us going. through this race here at VIR, Virginia International Raceway. And next week, it's going to be the Silverstone Legacy Edition here at iRacing as well. A great opportunity, and I think Fabian Sanchez now getting closer and closer. The gap is less than half a second. The gap is less than half a second with only 3 laps to go. This could well be a golden opportunity for Fabian, but has he got the tires to overtake? Because Nick has done only 7 laps on these tires, but will he be able to defend P7 with those tires on? Will Fabian Sanchez will be able to do something better than Nick, though? This could well be an overtaking opportunity. This could well be a big chance for us to see, for us to have a look at, and for these divers. And I think this is going to be a big opportunity, and closest they have been so far. And as it stands, Fabian is gaining on him. His previous lap 127.4, Nick's previous lap 128.0, both of them personal best, but Fabian just seems to be quicker. Could well be an opportunity for him to get through. Are we going to see Fabian overtake? Yes, we will, as he moves to the outside line, and that's going to be an overtake done by Fabian Sanchez, and moves himself up into 7th place and gets it done. Finally, the move that was laps coming has got to be done on lap 21, and that's going to be Fabian moving up into 7th place. And what a drive from him so far. Over 17 laps on these tires. Still driving like they're brand new. What a drive from Fabian so far, showing some good speed. 2.9 seconds, 6 seconds now the gap to Ryan. But that doesn't always mean he's made the move stick, because he's made the move stick so far. But if there is a mistake from him, if there is an opportunity from Nick, that could well be a big problem. Meanwhile, Max Fairchild is getting slower, and that is going to then allow Fabian to it's not going to allow him, because it's then going to allow Fabian to go very wide, and that's now going to allow Nick to get closer, because now they are closer to Fairchild as well, who might have made a mistake of his own, as the gap was over 2 seconds. Is now just less than half a second between Fabian and Nick, which was there, but 1.5 seconds the gap now to Fairchild, and I think it's going to be a big opportunity for any of these drivers to take that position. We are going to take it. I think Fabian has done a very good job. He ran wide. He went on that grass, but he's done it good enough. He's done a very good job. That's going to allow him and see him staying at the top. Meanwhile, Elliott ahead of everyone, currently on lap 23. One more lap to go. We're going to come back at him when he's on the final lap. But let's have a look. Let's go and have a look at this battle now, as Fabian's thinking to pull away, and he has ended up pulling away from Nick, and this is going to be his opportunity to try and overtake Michael with only 2 laps to go, including this one after this one. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity for Fabian to move himself up into 6th place after having to pit earlier, having done over 19 laps on these set of tires. Pitted very early in this race, still trying to do the most he can with the tires available so far, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity for him to be making this move done. With only 3 tenths now remaining in this race, between the 2 drivers, could well be a great opportunity to get going. Only 40 seconds remaining in this race now, and after this one, it's going to be the final lap of this race so far. And it's going to be an opportunity. He's going to try and do everything. Fairchild's going to try and do everything to defend. Will Fabian go is down the inside line? Not quite enough, though, as Michael has done very good to defend. He's done very good to defend. Will he be able to defend it one more time, though? Because he's used all his defending skills on that back straight, which was the biggest overtaking opportunity. But will he be able to do that one more time? Or are we going to see some position switching and drivers' overtakes being done? Sorry if you were in this race and expecting yourself to be shown on the screen, but at this moment in time, we're showing this battle as we are now into the final lap of this race. which is gonna see, and there's gonna be a chance for Fabian to overtake, but he almost went to the back of Child there, and that was gonna be a little bit of a problem between Fairchild and Fabian there. This battle is going on, but our leader is about to finish the race. We are going to catch up to them, as it's been Elliot, the man, here at VIR, Virginia International Raceway. He's done it once again. Fastest in qualifying. Won the sprint race, started P5, and wins the feature race here at VIR. Is going to be Elliot, the man, finishing ahead of everyone. Now Felipe in 11th place currently, 14th, and Xavier in 10th, Gareth in 9th, 13th for Richard, Rolls in 12th, 7th for Nick, Fabian, and that's going to be a big problem for Michael there. We saw him going very wide. Let's have a look at that. Let's go back in time to see what exactly happened, because we were seeing Michael making a move maybe. But let's have a look at that. What exactly happened? So this was then Michael, very clear, and he kind of got greedy there, trying to make a move on Ryan, and Ryan just came back on the circuit, just hit him into the front of his car, and that's then going to allow for Michael to be really falling back the grid and not being in the best of positions. Meanwhile, Fabian still going to stay in 6th place. But will it be an opportunity? Will it be an opportunity for Fabian to finish up the order? And not going to be able to do that. Both of them are going to come across that line. And that is then, ladies and gentlemen, is going to mark time and checkered flag to the race here at VIR. Hope you all watching enjoyed it. This was my very first time doing a race with the League Zero. Hope to be back next week for all of you guys in front of your screens. Let's have a look at the race finishing order. Elliot in 1st place, James in 2nd, over 2nd, 7 seconds behind he finished. Then Kyle in 3rd place, Zohair in 4th place, Ryan in 5th, Fabian in 6th place. Gave it all, but couldn't quite get into P5. But Nick then P7. It was a good fight with Fabian, but not enough. Then Fairchild in 8th place after a problem. Then Gareth, 24 laps down. Xavier in 10th place. 9th was Gareth. Then Felipe in 11th place. Then Gail Rolls in 12th, Richard in 13th place, Arturo in 14th, Emil in 15th, Leo in 16th. So these guys might have not finished the race, but this is the whole order with Eric 17th, Jacob 18th, Jace Mayer in 19th. He had an incident earlier on, and then it was Antonio in 20th, Cameron in 21st. He had a big incident as well. So and that's then we're gonna mark end to this race. Hope you all watching enjoyed it. And this is gonna be myself, Zabi, and I will be out. Make sure to follow ourselves. Make sure to follow League Zero on social media platforms. Myself, Zabi On Mic on Instagram, mentioned in the description. And for any queries, you can contact on given email address below. And that's then is gonna be it. It's myself, it was Zabi on your commentary mics, and I am out.